Alright, this is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, we're going to share with you guys how to pull out the most oxygen out of a mason jar. And no, that's not with a cheap Amazon pump. I will also be showing you guys later in this episode how to pull out the most oxygen in a blender carafe. In this case, the DynaPro blender carafe, because I have gotten several emails over the last few days on how to do it, and people cannot figure this out. Because I know a lot of my viewers are aware that the more oxygen you can remove before blending or even during storage of your fresh juices, salads, fruits and vegetables, or other herbs, spices, dried goods, or even dried flowers that may be of quite high value, right? We want to get the oxygen out. When you remove a significant amount of oxygen, things like bacteria and mold cannot grow. In addition, you will not have oxidation damage of different antioxidants and phytonutrients that are oxygen sensitive. All right, so let's go ahead and show you guys in this episode how you can remove the most oxygen the easiest way with the Pure Pump. If you guys haven't seen the Pure MVP vacuum pump unboxing video, make sure you click the link down below to watch that video where I go all into that. This is going to be a short and condensed version so that you guys can learn how to remove the most oxygen the easiest. All right, so the first thing is the kit. Basically, the one I want you to get comes with a pump, and I want you guys to buy the vacuum lids. These are the lids with the little valves. We'll show you a cool trick on the lids in a second. But the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and take 2 jumbo-sized marshmallows. We're just going to go ahead and drop these into the mason jar. As you guys can see, they're basically the same size. We're going to go ahead and put our Pure vacuum lid tops with the valve on top of each one. Over on this side, we're going to put a standard vacuum pump that you could buy on Amazon. These are like $10 or $20. They can come in kits with either some lids or vacuum bags. And the other side, we're going to use the Pure MVP vacuum pump. You know, I'll explain to you guys what's going to happen right now. Basically, you know, these cheap pumps you guys could get on Amazon, if they're electric, they can maybe pull out about 50 to 60% of the oxygen, which is good. Not great, but the main difference is when you use a Pure pump, you can remove up to 80 to 85% of the oxygen, which is a significant difference. We are demonstrating today on Marshmallow so you guys can see the difference that pulling out more oxygen makes. All right, so we're going to start up this pump, and we'll probably do this in a time lapse for you, and we're just going to go ahead and pump this up. 1 pump, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Look at that. It's almost filled the whole thing. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. This pump is still running, guys. It barely got the Marshmallow any larger. And this pump got it super large, but now it's basically kind of condensed down. So what we've done is the Marshmallow is really fluffy. It has a lot of air in there. We basically sucked out the air so that it pumped up, and now that there's so much air removed, it basically is shrinking back down. So I want to make sure we got the most oxygen removed. And now at the end of this test, I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, John, those marshmallows basically look the same. You know, maybe this one's a little bit smaller, this one's a bit bigger. But you know, here is where the difference happens. So now we're going to let off the vacuum. And when we let off the vacuum, that's where you really see the difference. This is the difference that 80% oxygen removal can make. As you guys can see, the Marshmallow over on this side, the original one, is basically the same size as we put it in. This pulled out some of the oxygen out of the Marshmallow, so it kind of got bigger, which looked impressive on the camera. But once we let the air back in, this is still just about as fluffy as it was. Whereas on this Marshmallow, as you pour it out, you guys can see it's all wrinkled and crumpled, right? We press this in, it's just a hard little mass. That's because we pulled out all the oxygen out of that, sucked it out to the point of no return, and then it basically shrunk down because the oxygen was no longer left in the chamber. This is the difference between like 55% oxygen removal or 60% and 80% oxygen removal. When you have 80% oxygen removal instead of 55 or 60%, what do you get? I don't want you guys to focus on the auction removal percentage. I want you guys to focus on what amount of auction is still left in the container. So if we remove 60% of the auction in this container and there's 100% auction, how much is left? Right, 40% auction left in this container. If we remove 80% of the auction out of this container, how much is left? 20%. So although this is in an increase, what you guys don't understand is that we left half as much auction in this container as this one, so we displace more auction out of the container. That extra 20% or double of the auction removal plays a big role because it's that final 20% that can either make the marshmallow small or keep it nice and fluffy, right? And this is what is also happening to a lesser extent to your juices and other foods you're storing in a jar under vacuum, right? I want you guys to remove the most oxygen. You get better storability. You keep enzymes like polyphenol oxidase inactive and at bay so they cannot break down the polyphenols. You keep the mold and the aerobic bacteria at bay because they cannot grow in low oxygen conditions. You reduce chance of leakage. You remove the dissolved oxygen if you're vacuum sealing juices. You have a longer shelf life, and of course you're preserving more nutrients, especially the oxygen sensitive phytonutrients and phytochemicals and vitamins. All right, so yeah, that was a demonstration I want to show you guys with the smaller mason jars. Next up, you might see me pumping. You're like, John, you're pumping really hard, man. There's an easier way to do that. I know, because I've been doing it a long time, although so many of my people have emailed me, so I want to show you guys a technique to do that. All right, guys, so now I want to show you guys the easiest technique to vacuum seal a jar here. First, I got a meter. This actually meter measures the amount of oxygen removal. If you guys want to get your own meter to do your own testing, link down below to my Amazon shop where you guys can purchase this for a meter. You're going to put a cap on one side. You're going to turn it on and make sure you press the diff button. That's going to measure the differential between this side, which is capped, and the side that is open. We're going to go ahead and then put this in a mason jar so you guys can see the reading on the camera. All right, next up, we're just going to go ahead and put a pure vacuum lid on. And while I could take the pure pump, put it on, and just pump it a ton of times, right? Let's make it easier on ourselves, right? We're going to use the electric pump first. We're going to see how much oxygen this electric pump can remove. So we're going to go ahead and turn it on. And as you guys can see, the number on the screen there is slowly incrementing. As the number goes up, that means you're removing more oxygen. So we're going to see this pump does not auto shut off. So you're going to want to run it a sufficient amount of time, but at some point it'll just keep running and no more oxygen will be removed because you're running it beyond the capacity of what the pump can pull. All right. All right, it looks like this pump has maxed out at 52.2 or 0.3. The number is actually not going up anymore. So at this point, we pulled the maximum out of this. This pump has done the majority of the work. It's pulled out 50% of the oxygen, which is good. I don't recommend you stop at this pump alone because once again, 50% oxygen is not enough oxygen removal for optimal storage. Now you're gonna use a pure pump to basically pull out even more because this pure pump is more powerful. All right, so let's watch this. Just one pump, two pumps, three pumps, four pumps, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pumps. All right, just 10 pumps more, guys. As you guys can see, we are now up to 75% oxygen removal. That was just 10 simple pulls of the pure pump. Let's do 10 more, see if we can get it any higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we were up to 75 and now we got it up to 81% oxygen removal. The first 10 were easy. We got a good range of like 20 points, but now the last 10, as you pull out more oxygen, it gets a lot more difficult. We only got up to 81. Let's pull it 10 more times, see if we can get it even up just a few more points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, guys, we got up to 82.2. So pretty much we're maxing out around 81 to 82 in this instance. But as you guys can see, the cheap pump got us up to 52. And then a number of strokes. At this point, we're up at 30 strokes. But even if you just did 10 or 15 or 20 strokes, you would be achieving maximum vacuum on your jar. And in this case, looks like we removed 81% of the oxygen, which is really good, guys. You're not really going to get more oxygen removed than this unless you buy some kind of really expensive vacuum pump system. By removing this much oxygen, I easily store my juices for up to a week. I store my salads for easily up to a week, as well as other heat processed prepared foods for a week or even 2 or 3 that I put in the Instant Pot and have been pressure cooked, right? So this allows me to basically batch prep a lot of produce at once so I can basically meal prep and have food to eat throughout the week. This is a game changer pump so you guys could preserve your food for longer. So a cool thing about these lids that I was not aware about before that I just picked up on, I want to show you guys actually. So this is a lid as they come. As you guys can see, this lid is flat on it, right? But when you have a vacuum on it, right? I want you guys to look at the lid on the top there. You guys can see it now has a divot. This little center will let you know if there's a vacuum or not. So I'm like, you could tell that this comes unvacuumed by just looking at it, because if this is flat like this, the vacuum has leaked out. But if there's a nice divot on it, then there is vacuum on the jar. So I really love this visual indicator that I was not aware about earlier that I just noticed happens as you pull a vacuum on the jar. Finally, we're going to go ahead and let the air back in. You can hear the big whoosh, and generally the longer the whoosh, that means the more air you remove, so that the more air has to displace it. That's a good amount of air. And of course, that little button there popped up. Now we're going to go ahead and remove our meter. So the next step I want to do is I want to show you guys how to remove more oxygen on your DynaPro vacuum blender. This technique may work on other vacuum blenders as well, but just in this last week I got like 4 people or 5 people email me, John, can the Pure Pump remove more oxygen out of the DynaPro? And I told them yes, because I tried it, but now I want to show you guys my true method to do it, because there is a method to my madness. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and put my meter inside the DynaPro so you guys could easily see it. Next up, we're going to go ahead and put the lid on the DynaPro, make sure it's fully sealed on there. Next up, we're going to use the DynaPro vacuum pump to see how much oxygen this pump actually pulls out. So we've started this pump up. I expect this pump to definitely pull out more oxygen than one of these Amazon pumps, because it does cost quite a bit more money. And let's go ahead and see when this unit cuts off, because this one will automatically cut off after a certain point. All right, so as you guys can see, the Tribest pump got us down to 63. Let's go ahead and pull it off and put it on one more time, see if we can get another point or 2. All right, guys, down to 64 total. We're gonna go ahead and pull it off. Now, guys, what I'm gonna do next is not authorized by Tribest nor Pure. This may void your warranty on one or both of these appliances. Number one, on the DynaPro, I mean, this unit shuts off at 64, probably for a reason, because the more vacuum you pull out, the harder it is on the seals, that may cause your seals to prematurely fail, okay? As far as I'm aware, Tribest does cover the seals due to leaks using the normal vacuum pump. They find out using another vacuum pump to put even more stress on the seals and they wear out faster, they may not be covering it under warranty, in which case you have to buy a new blade, bearing, and seal assembly. So that will be your responsibility if you want to do this, what I'm going to show you guys next. Also, what I'm going to do and show you guys next is not authorized through Pure, because I'm using the Pure pump in a way that has not been designed to do. So this may wear out this bottom gasket more quickly than not. All right, so how we're going to do this is we're going to go ahead and pull off the seal on the bottom of the pure pump, and normally the fat side goes on the pump. It clicks into place. In this case, what we want is we want this larger bottom side, which fits easily over the Tribest valve thing here. So we're going to flip this over and put this on upside down on the pump. This is not authorized by Pure. You will be stretching out this gasket, and this is not the ideal thing to do, but it will fit. So you're going to have to finagle this because it's going to want to pop up. But as you can see, I basically got it stuck on there. Once it's stuck on there, then now this opening is larger, and now you could basically put this opening, finagle it a little bit, and it'll basically go over the entire Tribest seal there. So it's basically going to be stuck on pretty good, and you're going to make a good seal. You can see since the Tribest has been sitting here, we've lost a few points of vacuum due to some leakage somewhere. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pump up the Pure to see if we can remove more oxygen out of the Tribest container and see how much oxygen we can actually remove. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, after 10 pumps, we're up to 58. After 20 pumps, we're up to 63. "30 pumps, we're up to 67. "40 pumps, we're up to 69. "50 pumps, we're up to 71. Another 10 pumps, we're up to 73. Another 10 pumps, we're up to 74. All right, I did about 30 pumps there, guys. We're up to 75, all right? So, looks like I was easily able to get it to 75, and now you could go ahead and remove your pump. And basically, we're still at 75 there. So, you know, while you can use the Tribest vacuum pump to get to like 64, you can remove 10% more oxygen using the Pure pump. It does work. Once again, you got to reverse that gasket when you're done. You should probably just take it off and put it back. You know, I cannot be held responsible for how long this gasket may or may not seal now, because you are stretching it out by doing this. So if you do want to do this, I would recommend buying extra gaskets. The other more proper way to do this would be to get a nice, basically, gasket to put on top of this. That's nice and firm, so you could rest the gasket on top of that and then put this whole thing, using it the right direction on this, because this way it's just a little bit too wonky, okay? So, you know, that's pretty much the goal of this episode, to show you with you guys how you can use the vacuum pump and then the accessory pump that pulls even more vacuum than electric pumps to pull the most vacuum out of a blender carafe, or even using it on a mason jar to suck out the most oxygen to preserve your food the longest, preserve your juices up to a week, and so you could have the least amount of food spoilage. I mean, since I learned about vacuum storage, I vacuum store all my foods, and everything just has a longer shelf life. It's amazing when I eat a salad that I made a week ago, a week later, and it's just about as fresh as when I made it, because I am removing up to 80% to 85% max of the oxygen using the Pure pump. And if you use this pump that removes 55% of the oxygen, or this pump that removes 63 to 64% of the oxygen, you're just not going to have the ideal storage, because you're still going to have a higher percent of oxygen inside your container. If you guys want to buy the Pure MVP vacuum pump, I do recommend the valve lids instead of the flat lids. It costs less money. I recommend the kit with 12 lids and the vacuum pump. You guys could also use the coupon code DJ5. That'll save you guys $5 off your purchase. You will also get free shipping over $100. Make sure you click the link down below, bit.ly/puremvp to get the discount. And when you guys use a good link or coupon code, Pure will share with me a small commission so I can continue to give you these educational videos to share the guys information that will help change your life, allow you to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, prepared salads, and other prepared foods, vacuum sealed with the most oxygen removed, so your food stays freshest the longest, so you guys could do meal prep literally just 1 or 2 days a week, so you guys could be eating and drinking fresh juices and even vacuum blended smoothies throughout the week. So I want to thank you guys who will use my coupon code or have used it in the past. It allows me to pay my light bill, pay my video editor, spend my time to make these videos, and even look up published science and research on why de-airing your juice is so beneficial for its storage and minimizes the nutritional losses. So if you guys enjoyed this short episode, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also be sure to share this video with other people so that they could remove the most oxygen out of their mason jars as well as blender carafes by using the combination of a electric pump and then the manual pump to do the least amount of pumping with the manual pump just to get you to the most oxygen removal. Make sure you click the subscribe button right down below so you don't miss my new upcoming episodes. I come in every 5 to 7 days. You don't know where I'll show up, what you'll be learning, what new juices I'll be unboxing, what new juicing knowledge bombs or food preservation techniques I'll be sharing with you guys on this channel to enhance your life and your health. Also, make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my videos come out. And finally, be sure to check past episodes. Past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 800 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to you guys all about the different appliances that will allow you to process your fruits and vegetables and other plant foods in the best ways possible, including storing them with the most oxygen removed using the Pure MVP pump. Links down below to my videos I made in the past about the Pure MVP pump so you guys could learn all about it. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors.